Scott, she's coming over right now. If they want to take us, we're here ready to go.
Scott, let them know that Art's here.
There, Scott.
What?
All right.
Scott, is there not IFB?
I'm rolling here. We're rolling right now.
Are we on? Okay. Leslie, you said I've been asking you to ask this question for 4 days. I don't know what it is, but I know she can you tell us anything about
Down in front!
There's no audio.
Down! Take the mic up. Take that mic up there. Walk it up.
Everybody was very friendly.
how deadlocked were they?
How deadlocked do you have to be?
What was the count?
There's a question of whether there will be a second trial or not, and whether Eric Menendez can. We're on live. And whether Eric Menendez can in fact afford you for a second time around. Will you defend him the second time around?
I will defend him the second time around if I can. That's all I can tell you.
Do you feel some measure?
Now Warren gets to ask the question. We're going to be organized.
Do you think
Yes, you may ask
the
me.
district attorney made a strategical error in not trying to counter what your experts said?
It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I don't think it would have made any difference, to tell you the truth.
How important was that testimony, though?
Well, I think our testimony was important, but I don't really know that it would have made a difference with this particular group of jurors.
Leslie, what measure of
You're
success?
next. This gentleman is next, then you're next.
I feel like I'm back in school.
I know, but you got to do. I can't answer for people at
Two
once.
questions. Part
Okay.
one, I think generally we'd like to know what your reaction is to this. Do you think this is a victory, a defeat, and Eric's reaction? Part one, and number two, what do you think the general misconceptions were you feel about Eric that the public has?
Okay. Well. Okay. Is it a victory? No, I don't consider it a victory. A victory would be if my client were free. To me, that would be a victory. This is unfortunately now a very expensive learning experience. Okay. As far as the public perceptions of Eric, it's hard for me to know what they are right now. The mail that I get is entirely favorable. The 3,000 letters that Eric has received are entirely supportive. They're from people who are very empathic, either similar, also abuse victims, or just loving people who understand what he went through. So I guess people who understand other people, who are empathic towards children, have the right perception of Eric. People who won't know and won't hear and won't understand, who are angry and hate-filled, don't. And that's the way it is.
Leslie, don't you feel some measure of
Eric's side in court. What did he say?
Eric's reaction, I will not tell you. Now, you're next.
Don't you feel
Channel 13's next.
Don't you feel some measure of success in that you were able to literally say here, or convince some of the people on the jury at least, that child abuse here was an excuse for murder?
No, we never argued that child abuse is an excuse for murder. What we argued is child abuse creates a terrible fear, and that fear in a certain set of circumstances can cause people to act because they feel they have no choice. We have never said child abuse is an excuse for murder. Okay? Now, and I want to just say one other thing as far as my success. I do not believe any jury will ever convict Eric Menendez of first-degree murder. And I never did think that would happen.
What about second?
So, and I would hope they would not compromise, because there's no rational theory upon which to find second-degree murder in this case.
Leslie,
So I would hope no jury would ever compromise and do that. Okay?
Leslie, are you going to be his defense lawyer?
I hope so, but you know, I can't go bankrupt in order to do it. There is no more money in the estate. I am going to have to ask the court to appoint me. I don't know if they will.
Is there a fundraising effort?
There may be a fundraising effort. I certainly can't be involved with it. I'm hoping that there will be people who will organize a defense fund, because there is no money.
Do you have?
Terry,
What do you think
Terry is
Can
next.
you
Terry is next. Terry, you're next.
What does the publicity surrounding this case and the movies that have come out, how will that impact the second trial? What are you going to
Well, I think jury selection next time around is going to be even more difficult, and I really think that this result is a product more of Proposition 115 and this judge deciding that we had no right to question the jurors than anything else. Because I think if we had been able to question all these people, that we would have had a very different result. And next time around, with the polarization that I think has occurred behind the actual trial, with these scandalous movies and outrageous books that are being written that have no bearing whatsoever to what's in the trial transcript, it's going to make it even more difficult. We're going to get people coming in who think that these despicable movies or these ludicrous books are what really happened, rather than, I mean, there are more people who will see that movie than watch court TV or watch the cable where the gavel-to-gavel coverage has occurred. So now we're going to have to overcome people who have this fictionalized version. That's a real problem.
Will you try to get this trial before a new judge?
I'm trying to hear from Tony. Well, I think we now have an opportunity. That's very bright. Is that the bug light?
You look good, though.
Bzzzt.
Were you able to get...
Wait, I'm trying to answer Tony. Tony, can you come forward so I can hear you better?
I wanted to know what will you do now? We will be back with more later reporting live. What will you do?
I'm letting Laurel do her tagline. You done? Okay.
Laurel's finished. What will you do differently that you didn't do it this time around?
Oh, I don't know, guys. I mean, you know, I haven't had time to think.
Will you
I
try
have
to
to
get this
think.
trial before
I'm
a
not
judge?
sure what we'll do differently. I'm not sure about that either, whether I don't know about whether this judge wants to try it again. You know, he has the right to not do it.
Leslie, what do you think? Do you have a sense now of what the jurors were in reality hung up on?
Yes, I do, but I am not going to discuss it. You know, we've been ordered by the court not to reveal anything that was said to us by the jurors, and I won't. Yeah, let me talk to the print people. Yes, Linda, and then Shireen.
You said at the beginning of this case that the boys had been basically demonized in the media.
Yes.
And that you came into this with many strikes against you.
Right.
Do you think you accomplished something special in changing the image of them, and in actually that a hung jury is a victory?
Well, I mean, I don't know that I accomplished it. I think by having the truth come out and having the testimony come out, people could judge for themselves. And the fact that they received so many thousands of sympathetic letters, and I would say the boys have never received a negative letter, that the truth, you know, sort of balanced the scales a little bit.
So by having them testify, you think that was the...
Not just their testifying, but I mean their family testified and could paint a picture of what their life was like. Shireen.
How will an outcome in Lyle's jury affect the retrial?
Well, I don't know. You know, I don't make the decisions for the prosecutor's office. You would think that if Lyle got a favorable verdict, that would make them offer Eric something, but I don't know how those people think. I've never been a prosecutor.
Leslie?
Mary Jane.
If Lyle's jury reaches some sort of decision and it doesn't hang, will that help your second case at all, not to have Lyle involved in it?
I can't assess that. I haven't had a chance to talk to our jurors about their feelings about Lyle or the evidence about Lyle. We really just had a very superficial set of discussions, and I will be talking to them again. So I don't really know.
Many more?
One more, Mary.
What factors will determine whether the court will appoint you?
Well, there's a series of cases that say where, you know, if you have an ongoing relationship with a client, it's mainly the Bill and Emily Harris case, and if the defendant is indigent, and they are, and they're entitled to appointed counsel, the court should appoint the attorney that they have the relationship with.
Leslie, on the question, I know right now he is charged with a capital offense. Would you hope that the DA might say it would not seek the death penalty to allow a bail?
Well, that would not necessarily allow bail, but I would. Well, the bail issue is, if I remember correctly, there are 3 different Court of Appeal decisions. One of them said if they're not seeking death, you're entitled to bail. 2 of them said so long as there are special circumstance allegations, even if they're not seeking death, you're not entitled to bail. But I would just hope, just to show some humanity, that the district attorney's office would not be seeking death. You know, but I hope that the first time around, they knew our defense. We sat there with their committee and told them our defense in advance.
But about the bail thing,
There's no money left in the family account?
Well, I'll tell you something. There are so many people out there who say they're supportive that bail would have, if it was ever said, it would have to come from strangers.
So you're not disappointed in the outcome? Are you disappointed with
Well, I'm disappointed. Eric's been in jail for, almost 4 years, and he's going to be in jail probably for at least another 1. That's miserable. Okay, who else that hasn't asked a question yet?
Would you seek to have the judge, Judge Weisberg, removed in the second trial?
We haven't made any kind of decisions like that. I haven't even thought about that. Yeah.
The odds seem so stacked against you at the beginning. Is today a victory of sorts?
Well, I guess the odds aren't as stacked against us. I guess we've made progress, but it's a real slow, expensive progress to get to this point.
Leslie, were you especially disappointed today, though? I mean, you thought there'd be a hung trial, but you thought, I think, that you had a chance that they would at least give you a not guilty vote out?
You know, I have to be honest. When we knew there were problems with this jury when we picked them. There were problems with the panel. And so I know I've said it all along, and I said it the minute they were sworn in. This is a hanging jury. And they hung, frankly, pretty much the way I thought they would. So I can't say I'm disappointed. I can't say I'm excited.
Talking to the jury.
What? I haven't heard from you yet.
Yes, okay. The prosecutor, or Garcetti, I understand, has said that there's some new evidence. I don't think he specified what it is.
Oh, did he?
This is what I've heard.
I haven't heard what it is.
If, from your point of view, there's also information...
Well, there's additional information. There were lots of other witnesses that we could have called. You know, we were being held on a very tight leash by this court as to not putting on, quote, cumulative evidence. I mean, we could probably prove all the same facts with completely different witnesses next time. There are so many more, and we may decide to do that, to introduce some new faces.
Do you feel that you're in a better position now than you were going into the first trial?
I'm 6 months older. That's never better.
Leslie, having talked to the jury, and I know you cannot tell us any specifics, is it clear to you, though, that the judge made the right decision as far as this jury would not have been able to reach a verdict? Can you at least tell us that?
The judge said that himself, and this judge is very careful in what he says, and he said that, and I can't disagree with the judge.
Garcetti said he has new evidence that he'd introduced in a new trial. Do you have any reaction to that now?
Well, I'll make a formal discovery demand on him right now through the media. Gil, give me the stuff. Okay? One more question, and then I want to go home.
With all the emotion behind the strong feelings of people on both sides of the case that have, do you see that there's a possibility that a second trial might also result in a hung jury?
I think it's a very good possibility that a second trial might be hung. It depends on whether we get jury... The jury selection process, in my opinion, was not fair, and you all know that I've had my battles with the judge. I don't agree with a lot of his rulings, so I guess it's... We'll see. We're going to try to take some appellate challenges to some of his rulings before the next trial. Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah. Okay, thank you very much. Now, I would really, truly appreciate it if you would not chase us while we go to our cars. It's very scary to be chased by people. I'd really appreciate it, okay? Right.
Thank you.
I feel like I was bringing an apple next time.
I used to not, but I think I do now.
Oh, I've always liked her. She is all she's dangerous.
Man, if I was up on a criminal charge, I want her as my...
Oh, yeah. She's one of the best. And white woman. Huh? And what?